Hello everyone. Silvana, it's been so long since we've heard the name of the Banshee Queen. It would seem that a year ago she was the object of heated debates and discussions, and 2 years ago she was the most popular character of that time. But now silence. In addition, although Blizzard promised to complete its story in addition to Shadowlands, they never did. On the contrary, they sent Silvana and Anduin on vacation indefinitely, thereby freezing their history for a couple of years. So to speak, they took over the baton from Morgiven. Now the Warcraft universe is at the stage of an intermediate edition, without big names and large coverage, but sooner or later the history of the past must continue, and all the brands postponed for later will find their development. The same goes for Silvana and Anduin. When exactly will they return and what kind of characters will they become in a few years? Today I will share with you my thoughts on this. And if you want to add something of your own, feel free to write about it in the comments. First, let's talk about Silvana. As we remember, she was sent to correct the mistakes of the past, or rather to serve her sentence, which was correctional work to save all ruined souls, and so that the Windwing could not escape, Tyron's personal owl looks after her. But think for yourself, is it really the same Silvana, who made all sorts of dark alliances and calculated everything a few steps ahead, really going to do what she was told with her head down? Oh, I don't think so. Alternatively, she accepted this punishment only to stall for time, and in fact, now in the Dark Lands, that is, in the womb, she is still pursuing her interests and trying to find something that will allow her to have a new unbridled power. As soon as she finds her, the first thing she will do is kill the Warden himself and disappear from all radars, and when she returns, she will have a completely different appearance and, perhaps, will play the role of the villain again. This is quite likely. Do you know why? Firstly, we were told that despite the reunion of the good and evil halves of Silvana's soul, the evil one still continues to look for a way to anger her anger out, and secondly, Blizzard understands perfectly well that they need a popular villain capable of attracting the attention of players. In simple terms, you need a hype character. And since the Sylvan villain formula worked before, why not use it again? Why invent something? They will think. But personally, such an outcome seems unlikely to me. The most truthful option is the return of the kind Silvana. Most likely, she will indeed dutifully fulfill the punishment assigned to her, but only because among the ruined souls, Rottenness wants to find Natanos. Koiva threw the hero of Mazaroth to the Mercy a few years ago. But what's next? Will they come back or will they stay in some covenant forever? It seems to me that they will return, because somewhere on the horizon looms an updated Keltalas, hints of which were found several times in the game files. The Kingdom of the Blood Elves is definitely being prepared for renewal, as is the rest of Zeroth. The only question is when exactly the developers will be ready to present all these novelties to us. Just for this case, we need characters associated with Keltalas. As we remember, in the same show Lance returned, Prince Kelly redeemed his sins, and in the epilogue, the current ruler of Keltalas, Larte Martherin, announced his desire to meet with the prince and talk about the future of the kingdom. Unfortunately, we did not witness this meeting. So Silvana and Natanos are also connected with Keltalas in the same way, and although their reputation is forever tarnished, Silvana still has an iron justification. It wasn't me, but the dark half of my soul. Now the Light One has returned, the same Silvana Windwing, and I am ready to serve my homeland. Lartamar has repeatedly noted how much he respects Silvana during the Second War, when she was the commander of the Pathfinders, and therefore, having heard about the return of the light half of the soul, he will surely give her a second chance. The Forsaken would never accept her anyway. Well, at least the elves might be glad. Besides, it was Silvana who helped the Blood Elves join the Horde. If it wasn't for this alliance, their kingdom would have died out long ago. Okay, the Sylvans figured it out, but what about Anduin, Rena? At the very beginning, Matthias Shaw said that the new king of the Alliance had been repeatedly spotted somewhere in the Dark Lands, but he was not ready to return to Azeroth yet. Let me remind you that Anduin is now engaged in self-examination and is trying to recover after being enslaved by the jailer. If before Anduin Rin was all of himself so bright and pure, innocent and unblemished, now the boy, so to speak, grabbed shit in full and screwed up all sorts of terrible things, though not quite of his own free will. However, hints of an attack into the darkness of the young king were still in the novel The Rise of Shadows, when the energy of the abyss flashed on his fingers. If before he was a bright boy priest, now he is balancing between light and darkness. He acquires a deep understanding of these forces, evolves, which I personally like very much. The interesting thing is that the same stage is now being passed by the prophet Velan, who, after seeing the reverse side on the Aru on the Vindicare, began to look at the light a little differently. He also begins to balance. Sooner or later there will be a big war between the light and the abyss. It's inevitable. And I think that Anduin was reserved for this very plot, as ordered. To lead the Alliance troops and guide your people during the war of light and abyss, you need to understand both sides more deeply. It is not enough to be a fanatic of one cosmic force. And I think that after his return, Anduin will become a completely different king, stronger and more determined. Actually, such thoughts. We continue to follow the development of events and are waiting for the return of our favorite characters. You also write in the comments what you think about my theory and be sure to offer your ideas. Thank you all so much for watching. See you soon.